Now, for more on this, we're joined from Maryland by Ginger Chapman, who is a lawyer and a political analyst as well. Welcome back to Q News and our economic bulletin. So the U.S. Court of International Trade ruled that President Trump has overstepped his authority. What does this ruling tell us about the legal boundaries of presidential power?
Yes. Well, thank you for having me today, Mark, and greetings to your viewers. And what we are seeing, this ruling stopping Trump's tariffs, is really the result of Trump being in a hurry and trying to take legal shortcuts to accomplish his policy goals. It appears that Trump saw the Biden administration's use of the coronavirus emergency powers to accomplish many of his goals and go around Congress. So now Trump is trying to do the same thing. He's using the international Mexican cartels, drug trafficking across the border as one emergency, and he's using the trade imbalance as the other emergency. And however, as we've seen, the New York-based court has put a halt to it. They have permanently barred Trump from using, well, essentially only from using the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. The court did say that there are other sections of the law, such as Section 122, that are more appropriate. Now, for Trump, these other sections of the law take longer. And for example, Section 122 authorizes Trump to impose tariffs only up to 15% and only up to 150 days. After that, Congress has to take action to keep the tariffs in place. So the court is saying that Trump has limits to his executive presidential power, and they are forcing him to get buy-in from Congress in order to carry out his tariffs. Now, the other wrinkle here is that Congress itself, in a series of acts, such as the Tariff Act of 1922, Congress has delegated a great deal of their authority to pass tariffs to the president. So really what we are seeing is the American legal system has become kind of a mess right here. The legal authority and the legal jurisdictions are becoming unclear
Yeah.
as the judicial.
Yeah. Well, no, I was saying, because you're explaining this perfectly. So it's Congress that has the power for taxation and spending. But they delegated, they said to the president, oh, you can have some of these powers back. But just Trump went a little bit too far with, and using, of course, the Emergency Economic Powers Act was perhaps a little bit of a mistake.
Yes, exactly, Mark. Once again, Trump is in a hurry and he reached for what he thought was the best law, the Emergency Economic Powers Act. However, once again, the courts have stopped Trump. And this is also not just an indication of the mess of our legal and political situation right now, but it's also an indication that Trump's reactionary behavior, his declaring 150% tariffs, 20% tariffs. Basically, it's Trump's personality, his flip-flops, his reversals, and his seemingly reactionary nature of his announcements and tariff policies that are really alarming businesses across America. So what we've seen now is the businesses have pushed one of the governors to bring this to bring this lawsuit to try and get a permanent barring of the tariffs. So this is once again causing a bit of chaos and economic uncertainty for businesses who are now pushing the courts. And so essentially what we're seeing is a result of Trump's flip-flopping announcements, the economic uncertainty, the ongoing conflict between the judiciary and the executive branch, And of course, Congress has muddied the situation by delegating much of their authority to the president.
Okay,
So,
but one of the things is that now there's going to be an appeal. Of course, Trump and his administration are filing an appeal. It could go all the way up to the Supreme Court. Do you think the decision will be changed?
that is an excellent question. And this is a very nuanced legal issue, once again, because of the fact that Congress has delegated so much of their tariff making authority to the president. Tariffs are different than taxes. Congress has the power to levy taxes to raise revenue. However, tariffs are a little bit different. They're more like sanctions. They're not to raise revenue. They are in order to get other countries to follow American foreign policy. If the tariff is successful, it will change the behavior of a country and not necessarily raise revenue. And once again, Congress has delegated through the Tariff Act of 1922 and other acts passed by Congress, they have delegated much of their authority to the president, which muddies the situation. And so Trump has appealed directly to the Supreme Court. This should go to the Supreme Court. However, we see the Supreme Court has their own issues. In particular, Chief Justice John Roberts and Justice Amy Coney Barrett are under a bit of scrutiny by the Republicans, looking at their personal relationships with other lawyers and other political groups. So the Supreme Court will take this. They will have a very difficult time deciding this. One, because of the muddy legal waters, the delegation of authority, the president's proclamations, whether or not this is truly an emergency, and the jurisdiction and powers of both the president and the Congress. And once again, because of the political undercurrents, there is some hostility towards Amy Coney Barrett, the justice, and also Chief Justice John Roberts. So right now, it's very hard to predict what the Supreme Court will do. I can assure you that while Trump is appealing the stay, the permanent injunction, his attorneys are also seeking out other avenues under Section 122, under Section 301, other areas of the law where they may have a clearer jurisdiction. However, overall, our government is not designed for rapid, fast action. Our founding fathers designed our government to be very slow and deliberative by setting up the three branches, the judiciary, the legislature, and the executive presidential branch. They are set up in a way to exert sort of a gridlock and a stopping motion on the other branches in order for our government to take slow, deliberative action. Okay. So Trump is going against the structure of our government. He's trying to accomplish things very rapidly. He's using a variety of laws which may or may not be appropriate. And our legislature and our courts are on their own, scrambling to counter Trump, to keep him within the guidelines of our Constitution. And this is a very messy, time in American constitutional jurisprudence for our legislature and our president. And it remains to be seen what will happen, because essentially the word of the day is chaos. So things are a bit chaotic, and we have to see where this shakes out. It remains to be seen what will happen after this.